In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to actually play on Education Edition for Minecraft. So, let's get into it. Now, starting off, to play on Education Edition, you are actually going to need to go on Minecraft Bedrock. Now, you do not need to be in the beta. I'm just in the beta because it also has the 1.19 snapshots on, so I was just checking out that. But remember, you do not need to be on the beta to actually do this. But anyways, let's begin. First of all, just press on play. After you go to the play button, press create new. After you created a new world, just like so, you're going to want to go down all the way until you see experiments. Now once you see experiments, under that you will see cheats. You're just going to want to activate cheats and press on continue. Then under cheats, it should say Education Edition. So you're just going to want to turn that on and press continue. And obviously it'll give you a little warning, but that's just fine. It doesn't really matter. So just click on create. Now after you click on create, it should show you the new Education Edition. Obviously you're going to want to go in creative mode because you're going to want to play with all of the stuff. So do /game mode C and you should be in creative mode. Now if you scroll down for a little bit, you should notice a few new items. Most notably some compound and element constructors, and also all of the elements on the periodic table, plus a little more things. So this is all really cool, allowing you to make a lot of new things, especially within the Education Edition. Now I'll show you some of the things that you can do. Obviously you're going to want the main stuff like this element table, this compound creator, and the lab table. There's also the material reducer as well. Within Education Edition, there's a lot more than what is basically in the creative inventory. You can make a lot of cool stuff like balloons, underwater TNT, and underwater torches, which are insanely cool items that we know that we all want in normal survival mode. So let's just test them out in here. So to actually make the balloon, first what you're going to need is hydrogen and carbon. Now what you can do is actually make these elements within the element constructor, just like so. You can mess around with the protons to actually make the element, and to balance it, you would obviously have to balance the electrons and neutrons as well. So just make that with every element here, but obviously it is not needed unless you're actually in survival mode. But obviously 1, you have to do 1 to everything, 6, you have to do 6 to everything, and 2, you have to do 2 to everything. But once you actually have this down, and go into the compound creator. Now within the compound creator, what you're going to want to do is place 8 hydrogen right over here, and then 5 carbon, just like so. You have to place those exact amounts, otherwise this will not work, and you will get this latex material. Once you actually have the latex material, make sure that you have a lead also for this, since it is a balloon. Now once you're done that, go to an actual crafting table. Within this crafting table, place a lead on the bottom, helium right over here, place latex all around here, and also get a type of dye. For this, I'm going to use a blue dye and place it up here. And as you can see, I get a blue balloon. Now obviously, if we want a classic red balloon, we can do the same, but with red dye this time. Make sure that you're adding latex. You're going to need 6 of the latex, but obviously if you're in creative, you can infinitely duplicate it. But as you can see, I have a red balloon now. Now with these balloons, a cool thing that you can do with them is actually hook them up to a fence. So if you grab a fence just like so, you can actually hook up a balloon to them, just like so. Which makes these really cool for decoration, especially within your Minecraft world. Adding in stuff to your vanilla game, which looks really cool. And obviously, this is an Education Edition, which you can easily turn on. Although you will have to add cheats on, but most people actually have them on anyways. But as you can see, this looks really cool, and they will actually affect with the world if you place them down. As you can see, they will move with the wind. But obviously, they will stabilize after a while. So next, I'm going to teach you guys how to craft Underwater TNT. Now this one is pretty simple. All you're going to need is sodium, which is the Na element, and then you're going to need TNT. You're going to want to place TNT on the bottom, just like so, and then sodium on the top. And it should look something like this. And as you can see, I can grab the Underwater TNT. Now this obviously works like normal TNT. If we grab a flint and steel, we can ignite it. but as you can see, it will work on land and underwater. So if we blow it up here, it will work just like normal, it will blow up the TNT. But if we actually go under this water, near this drown, let's say, and light the TNT, it will actually explode underwater, breaking everything around it, unlike normal Minecraft, where if you just do a regular TNT, do a flint and steel, it will not blow up anything. But this underwater TNT is great for blowing up underwater bases or monuments, which is really fun to do and is a great addition to your game. But the next thing to do is actually an underwater torch, which is great for underwater bases, although they might get blown up after this. So for the torch is the same process. You're just going to want to put the torch on the bottom and the magnesium on the top. Now magnesium is Mg and it's just like so. And as you can see, it looks strikingly similar to the soul torch. But obviously it has a different base and it is also slightly different. But I think it is actually kind of cooler than the soul torch, especially since it emits this particle. But obviously if we go underwater, and as you can see it's dark around here, if we place this, it will actually light it up. And it looks really cool. And obviously it will stay underwater and it works like a normal torch. So let's say if there's a block here, you can place it just like so, and it looks really cool. If it is underwater, it will occasionally emit the bubble part effect as well, which I think is a really cool touch. But this will easily help you light up your underwater base and get away the drowns. So this is great for your Minecraft world. And in general, it looks really cool, especially with the particle additions. The next thing I'm going to teach you how to get is actually a glow stick. Now the glow sticks are really cool. Once again, they are similar to the balloons in which you make them. So what you're going to need to do is actually go to the compound creator. You use hydrogen and carbon once again, but this time you're going to need a lot more. For the hydrogen, you're going to need 20 more, just like so. And then for the carbon, you're going to need 10. Just like that. And as you can see, we will get this. So once we actually have it, what you're going to want to do is head over to the crafting table. Now this one is a little bit more complex. You're actually going to need more elements than just this. But don't worry, it is actually pretty simple. The next element you're going to need is oxygen, and then you're going to need nitrogen. So after you grab those 4, then you are actually ready. Then you go back into here, and you're going to put the hydrogen on top. You're going to need 7, just like that. Then you're going to need 8 of the carbon. Then what you're going to do is 2 oxygen and 3 nitrogen, just like so. Grab some of that as well, and trust me, even though they have the same texture, they are different things, and they will help you with the crafting recipe. And lastly, it is 2 oxygen and 2 hydrogen. So after you do that, you will actually get what you need. So make sure that you have the exact amount, otherwise you may accidentally make something different. But once you have all of this, you are actually ready to make it. So for the crafting recipe, make sure that you get this right. Since they are the same texture, it is a little bit confusing. So what you're going to want to do is have this up here. Then only have these onto the sides, and then in the bottom you can put this one. Okay, so just make sure that you are looking at the screen and doing this right. Now obviously it will give you a red glow stick, but obviously you can change the colors as well. But obviously if I hold this in my hand, it looks pretty cool. It actually looks sort of like a lightsaber with the blue and red. As you can see, it looks pretty cool as well, and you can actually hold it up to your hand and shake it. So if you shake it, it will start actually emitting light. So if I turn it to nighttime, it will emit light. As you can see, this one's glowing up, but this one is not. But if I shake this one, it will actually start glowing, which I think is pretty cool. It will actually glow outside for the other people as well. And obviously, once it wears out, you can shake it once more. But this is obviously insanely cool. Although you cannot place it, it is just simply really cool to have around. Now you can also make colored torches. To make colored torches, you're going to need a potassium and chlorine. No, this is to make the purple colored torch, and I'll only be showing you guys this one since this is the main color that you want. Since the other colors can be obtained by getting this or a soul light, and obviously a redstone torch. But if you get this, and then you go into the crafting table and put a torch in this above it, it will actually give you a purple torch, which is really cool. Obviously, it doesn't light the place up different, but it is just a purple variation of the torch, which is still really cool, and you might want it. So obviously, this is another cool way of decorating your world. And then there are a couple more stuff that I'll be showing you. The next one is actually a heat block. Now, to craft this heat block, you actually need a ton of stuff. You're going to need iron, water, charcoal, and salt. Now, you can get iron from over here, and you can also get charcoal from here as well. Now, you're going to need to craft water and salt yourself, but I'll obviously show you guys how to craft it. So, to craft water, you're going to need H2O, which is basically, you're going to need hydrogen, and then you're going to need oxygen. So obviously you're going to need to put that into the compound creator, and then you're also going to need salt, which you're going to need sodium and chlorine. So starting off with water, you're going to need 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Then you get water. The next thing that you're going to need is actually going to be salt. So to make the salt, you're going to need 1 sodium and 1 chlorine, just like that, and you get salt. Now, to make the heat block, you're going to actually need to use the lab table. Now, within the lab table, you add 1 iron, 1 salt, 1 water, and obviously 1 piece of charcoal. Then you combine this, and it will give you the heat table. And it'll pop out just like that, doing a pretty cool animation. Now, the heat table, it removes snow and ice without producing light, which makes it really useful if you have a snowy base. So if you want to get rid of snow and ice in a cool way, then you can do it using this heater. So if you put a bunch of snow and ice around it, it will melt as if a torch was around it. So it may take a tiny bit, but obviously it will melt eventually, which makes this heat block pretty cool, and it also has a cool texture since you can see the inside of it. But as you can see, it starts melting snow, especially the more you have. Obviously, the more will speed it up, and it will keep on melting all of it. But now on to the last cool thing that I'll show you is actually the ice bomb. Now, the ice bomb is kind of hard to make, but it is pretty simple. It just requires a lot of elements. So to make it, you're actually going to need first carbon. So once you get carbon, then what you're going to need is hydrogen, just like so. Then after that, you're going to need sodium and oxygen. So the 4 things are right over here. Then once you have this, you're going to want to do it in the compound creator. So just put them together just like this, but obviously you're going to need little amounts of them. So 2 oxygen, 1 sodium, 3 hydrogens, and 2 carbons. Just like that, and you should get it. Now once you have it, put it into the lab table, but put out 4 of them, just like so. Then combine them. After you're done combining them, you should get the ice bomb. Now this is one of the coolest things that you can get, since it turns water into ice. So if you throw it, it will create a 2x3 of ice. As you can see, it will be really cool for parkour, or just traveling in general. But say I want to do some parkour, I could easily do this across the water instead of having to stack or anything like that, considering you cannot normally stack in this deep of water. You'd have to do it in really shallow water. So this makes it really cool. Obviously, if you need to cover up like a huge lake or anything like that, you can also use these for it as well. And it's just a fun thing to do. Now there are many other stuff like medicine, sparklers, spawn eggs, NPCs, hardened glass, and much more. But that is actually the end of this video for today. So I hope to help you get into Education Edition and start off with a bunch of really cool items in your new world. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for more content like this. Also follow my TikTok and Instagram. Links down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.